Welcome back to The Explainer. All right, today we're jumping into Chapter 8, and we're going to tackle a huge challenge in machine learning, how to stop our models from going stale. It's a problem that demands constant training to keep them in top shape.
So, to get our heads in the game, let's start with a little trivia. What do you think a super smart machine learning model has in common with a professional athlete at the absolute peak of their career?
The answer? Well, it all comes down to one thing: training. See, just like an athlete gets rusty if they don't hit the gym, an ML model gets weaker, less accurate if it's not constantly training with fresh, relevant data. And solving this is really the core idea behind what we call data-centric MLOps.
So, that's the problem, right? How do we keep our model in that peak condition? We can't be sitting there manually retraining it every single day. That's just not practical. What we really need is a solid, automated game plan that kicks things off all on its own whenever new data shows up.
And this is where a really cool tool called Apache Airflow comes into play. You can think of it as the head coach and the playbook for our model. It's this awesome open source platform that lets us lay out, schedule, and keep an eye on all the steps we need to take to get our model trained up. It basically turns a super complex process into a clear, manageable workflow.
Now, in Airflow, this whole game plan has a special name. It's called the DAG, which stands for Directed Acyclic Graph. And what you're seeing here is exactly that. It's like a visual blueprint for the entire training regimen. Each one of those boxes is a specific job, like grabbing new data or checking for mistakes. And the arrows show the exact order they have to happen in. No skipping steps.
Okay, so let's look at the first few plays in our playbook. First up, the system ingests new data. Basically, it grabs any fresh data that's come in. Then, it has to analyze that data. And this next part is absolutely critical. It checks its integrity. We got to make sure we're only feeding it the good stuff, right? Because using only high-quality data is the key to making this whole automated system actually reliable.
All right, so we've got our game plan. But a great playbook is pretty useless if you don't have a place to run the plays, right? An athlete needs a gym, and our ML model, well, it needs a powerful, reliable place to run its training drills.
And that's where Amazon MWAA comes into the picture. Think of it as our personal top-of-the-line ML gym. And that M in MWA stands for managed, and that is the real game changer here. It means it handles all the heavy lifting, the servers, making sure it can handle the load, keeping it online, so we can just focus on our game plan, the workflow itself.
So you're probably thinking, okay, setting up a pro-level facility like that must be a nightmare. But honestly, with a managed service like MWA, it's surprisingly straightforward. The entire setup really just boils down to a few key configuration steps.
Yeah, instead of getting bogged down in tons of code, you can literally think of it as a 3-item checklist. We just have to make 3 main decisions to get our entire environment fired up and ready to go.
Okay, step 1. We've got to tell MWA where to find our playbook. So we just point it to our DAGs folder, which we've stored in an Amazon S3 bucket. Simple as that. This tells the whole system where to find the instructions for our workflow.
Step 2. We need to set up a private training field. Just like an athlete needs a secure space to practice, our model needs what's called a virtual private cloud, or a VPC. This basically puts up a digital fence, creating a safe and isolated network for our Airflow environment to run in, keeping it secure.
And finally, step 3. We got to hand out the security passes. Our workflow is going to need permission to talk to other AWS services, like where's the data stored? Where does the model training actually happen? This step is all about giving it the right permissions to do its job, and nothing more.
Okay, so we've got the game plan, we've set up the gym, and we've given it the keys. What's the payoff? What's the winning result of all this setup?
And just like that, this is what we get. After those 3 simple steps, our Airflow environment flips its status to available. And that means our automated system is live. It's a robust, always-on training environment ready to execute our workflow the second new data lands. And this is really the heart of it all. Let's look at the transformation. Before, what do we have? A manual, slow, error-prone process. A model that was just getting staler by the day. And after? We have a fully automated, hands-off system that makes sure our model is always learning, always improving. It's a total game changer.
All right, let's do a super quick recap of the key stuff from this chapter.
We talked about data-centric MLOps. That's the whole strategy of automating things based on data. We used Apache Airflow to create our game plan, that DAG we saw, and we brought it all to life inside of Amazon MWAA, our managed gym that runs the whole show.
So, by putting all those pieces together, we've now built the entire foundation to run this data-driven workflow automatically. This is exactly how you keep your machine learning model at peak performance, just like that pro athlete we started with.
And I want to leave you with this final thought. It might seem like a lot, but don't let the complexity scare you. Just like elite athletes train one day at a time, we too can master AI concepts with daily learning and clarity. It's all about taking it one step at a time.
Until our next explainer, keep learning. Har Har!